All right, Collins, we go to the NBA as they play game 2 of this series. As we've got the Nets here hosting the Cavaliers. Cavaliers about 4-point favorite. Total sits at 218.5.
Yeah, so these teams played yesterday, and they're going to come back and play in Brooklyn again on Thursday. As Tony mentioned, it's going to be a 6:40 game in Brooklyn. So what I'm looking at here is movement, of course. It's opened at 5. It's gone from 4.5 to now 4. So sharps are tapping it. 68% of the tickets are coming in on the Cavaliers, so we're getting a really big public market on the Cavaliers, and then sharp respect on Brooklyn. I think why we're getting this line is simply because Brooklyn is Cleveland just covered the spread. It was a 4-point spread, and they covered at 6. Okay, I don't really like that. They give you a 5-point line. It's kind of just like, hey, take them. It's just what it seems like to me. They could have opened this at 6.5 or 7, and I probably would have stayed away from it. But since they opened it at 5 and sharps tapped it, it really just kind of seems to me that this is a Brooklyn spot. I think you play them on the money line here as well. As I mentioned, Brooklyn hasn't covered in the market. They're dead to the public guys right now. That's when sharps come. And as this says right here, I've been doing it pretty good. Sorry, this one right here.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Collins has been cranking in the NBA. 944 units of profit for the last 3 days in the NBA. Here, Collins here will be on the Nets here, +4 here against the Cavaliers. Of course, just a first look here at the injury report. Of course, this injury report always changes overnight. We know it looks like they'll be clean here for Cleveland and Brooklyn. Of course, Simmons, he's pretty much out of the picture, right? With the coach for the NBA, we're not having any use for him.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was looking when they opened it at 5. I immediately went to the injury report. Somebody's got to be out for Cleveland, right? They just covered 6. You think the day after they can come in and roll them by 10. So you open the line at 7.5 or 8. They opened it at 5, and sharps just came in and hammered. I think this is a spot where I feel like sharp bettors are thinking Brooklyn can win this game outright, and I'm going to have to agree with them. I don't have a reason not to.
All right.
Just from how the odds makers opened.
Market reading here, Nets here, +4 here against the Cavaliers. This one to have a start time here of 7:40 Eastern time over on NBA TV. All right, Collins, let's go over at Tony'sPicks.com here for Thursday's action. We see the great results here. 944 units of profit in the NBA. That's all documented over at Tony'sPicks.com, so you can verify that by going to Collins' handicapper page. Go down to pick history. You'll see all the plays that he's delivered on. Fantastic results here from the NBA. All right, Collins, looks like tonight that we'll have a 4-game card from the NBA. We, of course, as well as the Sweet 16 4-game matchup from college hoops. A big card in NHL. What do you have going on over at Tony's Picks?
Yeah, so when we get to this time of the year, I usually let NHL go towards the playoffs, and I just focus in really heavily on basketball. If I'm not focusing on basketball right now, usually I'm starting to get in on those MLB games. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm a fiend for some MLB action, man. Last year I underperformed a little bit, man. I guess I just had a bad spot in the market last year, but I'm really feeling confident this year. I've put in the time with MLB. But as I mentioned, if you're looking for NHL, I'd wait till we get closer to playoffs, because right now I'm all in on basketball. We're 2 weeks away from the play-in tournament, and right now we're gonna get some teams that are playing for things that that at the first part of the year seemed inconceivable, right? We're getting some teams that are really starting to fire it up in NBA, and as I mentioned with NCAA, we're Sweet 16, man. We're at the end. We're getting there. NIT. I think the championship's coming up. Is it Friday?
Yeah, I believe it's Thursday. I believe actually the championship is. Let's see, we're getting into actually next week I think we get into the semifinals. So.
Okay. All right. So I was a little off on that, but we're getting NIT, and we still have CBI, which is just wild to me. I don't understand it, but I mean we're here for it, man.
That's it.
Basketball is fine by me, man.
That's right, guys. You get it with Collins Brown over at Tony'sPicks.com. They'll have action for you on Thursday. But again, the long-term passes, if you get that 7-day pass, you get all of Collins' pre-plays for 7 days, all NBA as well as the NCAA tournament through Sunday's action. Or if you want the entire tournament, that 30-day all sports pass is a good one because all of Collins premium plays for 30 days would include all his NBA. Of course, NHL playoffs will be the first round there of the playoffs, as well as MLB. Right, MLB is just a week away, a week from Thursday. We got that 15-game card, and we're ready to roll here with baseball. We talked a bit about last week about the rule changes, but we're ready to go here as we got through the World Baseball Classic. Now it's time to focus here on the start of the season. Of course, we'll save you some money on that 30-day all sports pass when you use that promo code here. Tony T at checkout. You'll be able to use that promo code and save $66. You can access Collins' page by clicking the link you see there in the description. Click the All Cappers tab, and you'll land right on Collins' page. So go ahead and get signed up and get that 30-day pass from Collins. You'll be covered here for baseball for the first 3 weeks of the season, the rest of the NCAA tournament, and NBA into the play-in round. So, and of course, a little bit of NHL playoff action as well. So we're starting to get into the playoff season here in the sports, new sports to start. Baseball's a long season. We're here second year together with Collins here on baseball. We're ready to roll here with a big season. Collins, getting ready for baseball, right?
Getting ready for baseball, man. I'll be honest with you. The Japanese management and how they work those two games, the Mexico and the USA game. Man, they did a really good job with that. There's not a whole lot you can be upset about as a baseball fan, just as far as how they managed that whole thing. But like I said, with the pitch clock, we're going back towards small ball. If you're looking at those home run hitting teams, I would start just kind of walking yourself back a little bit, because I think we're going to be looking at pitchers that are really effective this year. If you have a good pitching staff, you can win. And if you have good pieces in your lineup, and just guys that can hit around 270, all of them, I think you're really set up. Just as far as Major League Baseball's moving, it's going away from the home run ball, and I don't think they're trying to do that on purpose. But again, the people that make the rules don't follow the rules, and it seems that MLB management doesn't like baseball. Let's just be honest.
That's right. And I got to ask you this question, as a catcher, how important is that the coaching that catcher gives the pitcher? Now, the pitcher's pretty much going to be on his own pretty much now with his pitch clock. There isn't much. Obviously, there's a lot of communication between catcher and pitcher. I know it's limited, but many of it's in sign signals. But it's going to be a rush now on the catcher's point of view. There isn't a whole lot of time really to communicate with the pitcher.
No, and you have a limited amount of times you can pick off. You're giving runners. You're giving them free bases, and to me it makes no sense. Which I already said, the people that make the rules don't follow the rules. As a catcher, I would probably just void my contract and go back home, because my numbers are about to go down. I might be a Hall of Fame guy that's throwing out 45% of runners. I guarantee you we're looking at guys don't throw out 25% this year, like the Real Mutos, the Salvies. Those guys, they're throwing out 30, 35, 40% of runners. They're not going to have a chance, man. It's 20, 25%. You I say flip a quarter, but you got worse odds. Honestly, it's going to be base runner. If you're fast, dude, you're about to make your money in MLB.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. The fast players, and no doubt about that. Late inning substitutions, all the strategy in place here to get these runners. Exactly. You draw a walk, boom, they got to be on third base. It's
that easy.
Yeah.
And you think about extra innings. We talked about it last year a lot. How extra inning games, when you get, if say you have an under at 7.5 and you're in a 2-2 ball game when you go into extra innings, if you play 11 innings, your under is toast.
Oh yeah.
And there should be no reason why that's the case. And this year, you usually see those Denver games where you have the 10.5, 11 totals.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to start seeing a lot of those, simply because base runners it's free game. Like you have nothing that you can do as a pitcher or a catcher, and it's honestly sad. It really is.
Yeah,
sad.
And we're seeing how fast the player. Watch NBA. Look how fast these guys are running. Everyone's running faster, and the bases haven't expanded. Right, they're still 90 feet. Right, so it's
and to throw it in, you can't shift anymore.
Yeah.
To throw it all into the mix, you can't shift anymore. So you can't even try and get say you got Joey Gallo coming up, right? You're going to flood the right side of the infield and flood the right side of the outfield. You can't do that anymore.
No.
Now you've just got I don't understand it. I do not get
Yeah,
it.
that's Collins Brown, a big-time collegiate catcher now, and of course, but in college baseball, so it's still again from a catcher's perspective, we can understand here what's going to happen here. It's going to be quite interesting to see this new baseball
Right.
season. Now, my concern is some of how it's going to impact pitchers' stamina when we get into the later innings. I was the one I know, because these guys are pitching so hard. And what's it going to be like when we get to the sixth inning, seventh inning? Some of these guys like to go deep in games, and how does it impact their stamina? How if they can continue the effectiveness with not much recovery time between pitches?
And another thing to think about, recovery time between innings, right? Between half innings. If we're speeding the game up, where I used to have 20 minutes to get myself back together, I can put a little heat on the elbow to keep it going. I can, water down. I can, take the salt pills or whatever, whatever they're taking. They don't have, like, you've got 10 minutes probably. You're looking at 10, 12 minutes to where you got to be back on the mound ready to go. To me, I don't. It sucks to be a pitcher, and it dang sure sucks to be a catcher right now. That's all I can say.
And of course, the reliever's going to take. Remember, they used to stall for the relievers. The reliever's going to have to be ready quicker now, right?
Right. You're going to have to make that call to the pin the inning before, because you used to be able to walk out to the mound a couple times and be like, all right, is it getting there? Is it getting there? Okay, let me waste another 3 minutes. Is it getting there? Is it getting there? Now, you better be hot, because when I call, you better be ready, man.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, it's gonna be, what a wild season coming up. We'll look for it all. All right, Colin, it's always great having you show. See that success. We'll catch up with you next time.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
You got Collins Brown here on TonySpeaks.com. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.